It's good to be back. Back again.
Oh, yeah.
With my friends to die on this hill. Give our opinions. Give our takes. It's NFL Draft Week.
Woo!
And, I mean, listen, I don't get excited for much in the NFL offseason, to be honest. Even though I know they plan something once a month to make sure they're in the headlines, I really only pay attention again around draft time and wait until, July, August for the other stuff. But this is exciting. This is a time of year when everybody thinks they could be a Super Bowl champion, when everybody's looking at their team and looking at the ways that they improve through the draft and going, yes or no, and all those fun reactions. And we're going to have our own. But before we get there, we're going to give some predictions. And I'm going to kick it off with probably the hottest take of the day. Are you guys ready for this? I don't think you're ready for this. Caleb Williams is going to go number 1 to the Chicago Bears.
No way. That's the hottest take right there.
So I don't know how you guys feel about that. I'm just going to throw that out there first.
Dave.
It's probably a wower. Not sure what's going to happen with the teams behind there, but I mean, I don't think anybody saw this coming.
That's a bold strategy there, Cotton. Dave, I think he's off his bird saying Caleb Williams going number 1 overall.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I think he put the tinfoil hat on too soon.
Right? But what do you guys think of that, though? Do you guys believe in Caleb Williams? Is he the resurgence that Chicago's looking for? Is this what they're going to do?
Dave, go ahead.
I mean, look, I am far from somebody that studies college tape and follows all these college players. But to me, I never really thought Justin Fields, I don't really feel like Caleb Williams is that much better, if better at all, than Justin Fields. And the Chicago Bears are the Chicago Bears. And I don't really think Peyton Manning to me could be the number 1 pick in this draft, and the Bears would still find a way to ruin his career. I think, Eric, it's you who I've heard say this more than anybody else, but it's not really where you're drafted. It's who drafts you. What scenario, what team are you going to? Now, with that said, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, I mean, those are some good wide receivers. Cole Kmet, decent run game. Do I think he's getting put into a better scenario than Justin Fields was put into?
Oh,
yeah.
Hell yeah.
So, but when it comes to talent, I don't think he's any better than Justin Fields. So that would be my take on whether or not Caleb Williams would be the resurgence. I think the Bears are a bigger problem than the quarterback.
Yeah, but I mean, to me, I look at this and what I don't like about it, what I don't like about the pick, and what I don't like about Caleb Williams, to me, it seems like it's all about him. And so far, to me, he's kind of demanding. He's kind of like, there were some questions for a little while of, well, would he be one of these guys that would sit out or not want to play unless he got to go where he wanted to go? And, there were, stupid rumors. I know they were just rumors of him wanting ownership share in the team and stupid stuff like that. And I get that stuff's out there. And a lot of that got to take with a grain of salt. But that being said, just going by his collegiate career, to me, he wasn't as special as people are making him out to be. And to me, he could be more of a system guy. That he did follow Lincoln Riley from, I believe, Oklahoma out to USC. Mm-hmm. So it's not like he, played he played under one coach. He played in a system. He played a certain way. Yeah, he had some good numbers, but he also had some not great games too. He wasn't, this, oh my God, must see every week kind of guy. And for a guy who's going number 1 overall, going to be is supposed to be a franchise guy, I don't think he's better than Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he's better than some of the other quarterbacks who've come out in recent years. And I honestly don't love this quarterback class in general, but we'll get into that as we go through more of the draft. that being said, and since we're all kind of on the same page there with Caleb Williams going to the Bears, any question about what Washington is going to do with the number 2 pick?
Didn't they just bring in like 22 draft prospects for the last day, for the last meetings? I mean, so who knows what they're going to do with that pick? I've heard a lot of analysts say that they believe Jaden Daniels is the right pick for them, but I've heard sources say that Jaden Daniels doesn't want to be there. You know, he doesn't want to go to Washington because they've screwed up so many people. But yeah, you don't really know what they're gonna do. I think Jaden Daniels, though, I think they're gonna take a quarterback. Jaden Daniels is probably the most pro ready out of all the quarterbacks, so I imagine they take them.
Yeah, I think Jaden Daniels is most likely your guy to go there, but I wouldn't be surprised if you see a Drake May or a JJ McCarthy.
I would be super shocked if JJ McCarthy went too. Super shocked.
His agent hyped him up. I mean,
who? Harbaugh?
Harbaugh has just hyped him up, dude. He's got him. Everybody.
Why wouldn't Harbaugh hype him up though? Like that's the thing. Is like you got to look at it. Yeah, that's his
spirit
boy,
animal.
That's his, you know, so that to me, I'm like, I can't see any way, shape, and form in any scenario JJ McCarthy goes number 2. I just don't see it happening. I don't know.
I think the Patriots would love that. I think then they would stick at 3 and take May or Daniels.
I think it's Daniels too. Is what it's looking like. Although he was a little butthurt about
all the draft.
Well, yeah. I had to go in with all the other quarterbacks, and I didn't get my own. Some teams just don't do that. And if you're already going to be a whiny bitch, I got to be honest and make me pivot. And I'm okay if you don't want to be with me. I'm all right if you don't want to be there. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. We don't have to draft you and waste money on you in a place you don't want to be if you think we're mistreating you already by just bringing you in with everybody else. Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't we do that? Why would we schedule 3 weeks worth of meetings when we can have 3 days worth of meetings? Like, to me, it was something that it would turn me off in the front office, but I'm not them. And from everything I hear, it sounds like Jaden Daniels is the guy there in Washington with the number 2 pick. So I think that pick is in. I'll be honest. I think it's what's going to be interesting is 3 and 4 because I'm hearing a lot of things about my team and the Minnesota Vikings. 2 teams looking to claw their way up to 3 or 4 to get their quarterback. A lot of people seem to think that the Giants might be high on McCarthy, but I honestly think that it's May they're high on, and that's just Daniel Jones 2.0. That's not worth it for anybody. And I've said it. If you can't get one of the top 2 guys, if you can't get one of them, then I think what you have to do, if you're not getting either Alt or Marvin Harrison Jr., then you got to trade out. Trade out. But I'm hearing they're big time into trading up. So, and if they trade up, I'm hearing May is the guy they're looking to get. I don't think they can get him at 4 because, like you just said, I think New England ends up sticking there to take him at 4 because or at 3. I mean, yeah, good call. And everything I've heard is Arizona's probably going to end up taking Harrison Jr., which should give the Giants their pick of, the lineman. Either, the kid Alt, there's another guy from Penn State that's getting some recognition. There's some other people there that, the Giants need to build with. If Marvin Harrison Jr. is there, that's a guy to build with. Get your quarterback next year. You're paying Daniel Jones this year. Why trade up to get a quarterback that you know is going to sit for a year? Now you're going to have a $50 million quarterback room with 2 guys who aren't worth anything at this point. It doesn't help anybody to have somebody come in and sit behind what's going to be probably a disgruntled Daniel Jones. This situation pleases no one. It doesn't help the team, in my opinion, and it would be the first time I'm really going to question Dable and Shane and what they're doing in the direction of this team. So I hope they don't try to trade up to 4 with Arizona to take a J.J. McCarthy, because now they've lost out on Caleb Williams, Daniels, and May, and now they're trying to go all the way down the list to McCarthy. Granted, McCarthy played at Michigan, which I'm always high on guys that play in big conferences. Went out, won a national championship this year. I'm not trying to take anything away from the kid. I think he might have enough to go to the next level and play, but is he going to be the next Baker Mayfield? And is that what you're looking for? That's kind of where I see him fitting in somewhere. Like, I don't see him as something greater than that. And that I don't know. I'm a little bit perturbed and I at a loss for words, because I'm just not sure what direction the Giants are going to go. And if they go up, I'm scared, because I think New England should stay put. They'll probably take May. Good for them. Let them fail with another guy. Although to be honest, though,
they got
I want to give.
You can learn under him.
That's just as bad. To be honest, that's pretty much just as bad a quarterback room as what the Giants are rolling in with Drew Lock, Danny DeVito, and
Kenny Jones,
and then Danny Dimes. It's ugly all around, but I think that's why you got to ride the storm this year. Find a way to trade up to 4 and get Marvin Harrison. The guy's a generational talent who you can have for the next 10 years. Draft your quarterback next year. Go out and get a quarterback next year. You don't have to do it this year. You still find pieces. So that's what I implore. That's my giant spiel. And I'm going to turn it over to you guys, see where you guys think 3, 4, 5, 6 end up. I'm not sure what the Chargers are going to do. Maybe we'll go there. But yeah, let me hear you guys' opinions on these next couple of picks, because to me they could go any which way with teams trying to trade up.
Got it, Joey.
With 3, I could see. I could see Minnesota trying to trade up to 3 or 4. I don't know if they like May or if they like McCarthy better. So watch out for Minnesota to make a trade. It's really up to New England to see if they like a certain quarterback. If he falls to them at 3, they're probably going to take him. Otherwise, they're probably going to try and look to trade out. And I could see Minnesota moving up, and other than that, I can't really see another team trying to move up to 3. They don't really have the ammo. Other than that, at 4, I could definitely see Arizona looking to trade back or to take Marvin Harrison, one or the other. Man, how do you turn down Marvin Harrison? He's been the best draft prospect for 2 years now. So, and they need a receiver. Hollywood Brown just went to the Chiefs, so they could definitely use a number 1 receiver. And then you said also 5, the Chargers. Harbaugh is hoping and praying 4 quarterbacks go in a row, because then the draft really starts with him at 5, and he can take whoever he wants.
He's a guy who's watched Marvin Harrison Jr. pretty closely over the last few years. Didn't coach him, but coached the other side of him, coached his rival. And I wonder if that's a sneaky pick. He's hoping that, like you said, four quarterbacks go in a row, and then they can sneak in with Harrison Jr. at 5. That's why I don't think there's any way Harrison Jr. falls to 6. But Dave, what do you think?
Well, and I think that's the interesting part, right? We got 1, 2, 3 all in the need of a quarterback. The Giants, I think everybody agrees they need a quarterback, but you have Daniel in a contract, and like you said, Eric, they can wait till next year. But when you look at 4 and 5, both teams needing a number 1 wide receiver, I wouldn't be surprised if you see the Chargers maybe try to trade with New England or trade with Washington so that they can jump up to get Marvin Harrison or the wide receiver out of, I think, LSU is the other big name everybody's kind of high on.
Neighbors, yeah.
Neighbors, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if you see the Chargers try to trade with one of those teams to leapfrog Arizona so that they can get the wide receiver that they want. Arizona stands pat, willing to take whichever one, or maybe they get aggressive because they don't have to leapfrog anybody because none of the 3 teams ahead of them are probably going to go wide receiver. So
Maybe
I think
New
you see
England.
the Chargers, maybe New England, but I mean,
Maybe.
what are they like? I don't know. Belichick. I don't know what Mayo's mindset is, right? Like we've
think
watched Belichick for 20 years.
I think Kendrick Bourne's their best receiver, so that's why I throw out the maybe.
But who's throwing them the ball?
Jacoby Brissett, bro.
we're gonna let you die on that hill.
Yeah, that's.
But I really do think that the Chargers try to leapfrog Arizona, and New England could be the team that's willing to make that trade to go back. They have holes everywhere, like you said, Joe. I mean, they really don't have talent anywhere on that roster at this point, other than a few players on defense. So I do think you see. Sorry, I got the hiccups. Caleb Williams 1, Jaden Daniels 2, and then to me, Drake May is either wearing a Patriots jersey or a Giants jersey next year.
Oh, wow.
I hope it's a Patriot jersey.
And look, honestly, when I hear you say he's Daniel Jones 2.0, I find it so funny because a lot of people thought Daniel Jones was going to be Eli Manning 2.0, just a little more athletic. And that shit flew right out the window real quick. So I don't know. When you look at it, though, I do think you're going to first three picks quarterback. And from there, I really do think it's a crapshoot. But the only way I think I'm wrong is if the Chargers try to leapfrog Arizona by trading picks with New England. But then also you mentioned Minnesota. Minnesota might jump up. Atlanta now has Kirk Cousins. They're not going to go for a quarterback. Tennessee is going to try and see what they have in a full season with Will Levis or Levi's. I don't know, however you're supposed to say it. So yeah, I definitely think you're going to see three or four quarterbacks. I think all the big quarterbacks, McCarthy, Daniels, Caleb Williams, and May. I think all of them are gone by the time you get to the after the Giants at 6. So by 7, you're opening up the draft to see what else is out there. And I mean, as a Cowboys fan, with the Cowboys picking at 24, the more quarterbacks that go early, the happier I am. So, yeah, those are my thoughts for what we're going to see early in the draft.
I think you're going to see all 6 quarterbacks go in the first round. I think you're going to see 6.
But it's where? So, because I think I would like to see, and the only way I would like J.J. McCarthy is if somehow he fell down to 20-something. Say he fell down to 22, 24, somewhere around there, and you could trade back into the end of the first round to grab your guy because he may have slipped. I could get on board with that.
Mm-hmm.
I can get on board with that kind of thinking, going, you know what, we're trying to get value. You know, he's a guy who could have went earlier. We lay it, but I could see it. I could see the path forward. I don't know if that's actually going to happen. I think so. What I want to propose to you guys is with the top 5 quarterbacks, or so we have what? Daniels, Williams, McCarthy, May, and who's the other one?
Penix.
I don't know if Penix going first round.
Bo Nix.
Bo Nix. I'm going to say those top 4 guys. Top 4. Better chance that all 4 go in the top 8? Or do you think one slips down? And if it is, who do you think that QB is?
I would say all go 8. And McCarthy is the last one taken.
I'm with Dave on that 100%.
Okay.
Real quick, we got Ray Adams in the chat. I threw something out there saying, should the Giants trade up for a quarterback? And Ray says, trade up. He wants a quarterback.
But who? That's my question to you, Ray, is who do you want? Because you're not... Caleb Williams isn't the guy, in my opinion. Daniels... Maybe I could see what Dable could do with a guy like Daniels. I don't like Drake May. I really don't want to see them go with Drake May. If there's any one of the 4 quarterbacks I don't want them to draft, it's Drake May. I'll probably end up eating my words on this after they draft him, trade up to draft him 3 overall, and he ends up being tremendous. I'll have to eat those words 5-10 years down the road, and I'll eat them great. I'll eat them with a smile on my face. But I just, if you ask me which quarterback out of the 4 I like the least, it's actually Drake May.
Well, everybody likes him because they think he's the next Josh Allen. He's built like him. He's a big dude, strong, has a big arm. They're thinking he's like the next Josh Allen.
Yeah, Daniel Jones 2.0.
Okay.
Again, Josh Allen's a special guy. They don't come around all the time. Like he what Dable did with him, that's why I want to see Dable get a guy with some talent. He played at North Carolina. How great was North Carolina? How great ever is North Carolina football? Like,
true.
You know what I mean? Like, when was the last great, now granted, all-time great right here came out of North Carolina. So
I was not aware of that.
I can't completely bash their football prowess. But at the same time, I don't see that for Drake May. And I've never seen a quarterback. To me, this is Daniel Jones coming out of Duke. This is that same kind of guy, looks like he has the attributes, fits a lot of what you think a prototypical, quarterback would be. You want to be big, strong, physical, big arm, this, that. He fits the metrics, but to me, it's not always just about the metrics. And if he's so physically gifted, I've seen some of the most physically gifted guys. A lot of it comes from
mental.
up here. If you look at Tom Brady, case in point, look at Tom Brady's draft photo. Dad bod written all over it. He didn't come in chiseled and ready to rock.
Look at Eli.
But 10 Super Bowls and 7 rings later, here he is as the GOAT. You know what I mean? So I think that, sometimes people get too caught up in the, how much is he lifting? How fast is his,
Instead of looking at the tape.
All that stuff. And I just think that the combine weighs too much into it. I think you need to put more stock into what they're actually doing on the field. And on the field, he's an okay quarterback for an okay team. Like, is he a guy that you were like, oh my God, every weekend, did you see that Drake May highlight? Did you see that? Oh my God, did you see what North Carolina did this weekend? If you did, you were talking about basketball. So, again, I don't want to completely bash the kid because I'm sure he's going to come in the league and prove me wrong. I've been proven wrong before,
I don't know, bro. 2021, the last time 3 quarterbacks went in a row, and only Trevor Lawrence is on his current team still. Everyone else is on a different team.
He did take him to the playoffs this year, too. He was the only guy. If you guys, and I know Dave will remember this. I preached to the choir. He was the only guy coming out that draft that was worth drafting.
Oh, yeah. I remember that all too well. And not only did they make the playoffs, but wasn't it last year when they came back from down like 3 scores to knock the Chargers out and Justin Herbert out of the playoffs?
I think that was 2 years ago.
I'm not sure.
Now? Jesus. I don't know.
Yeah, because this year they sucked. They got off to like a great start, and then they fell flat and made the playoffs. And I actually don't think they made the playoffs.
No?
Oh.
No, they did not.
No,
yeah,
okay.
They didn't make it this year.
So I was thinking 2 years ago.
Honestly, I thought the same thing when the Giants took Daniel Jones. I don't know why you would watch a quarterback that plays or a football player that plays quarterback for a basketball school and think he's going to turn into a pro for you. So I mean, I don't know. Duke and UNC are not known for producing quarterbacks.
No, but where did Josh Allen go to? North Dakota State, right?
Listen,
who thought of that?
You could find some diamonds in the rough. I'm not telling you can't, and I'm sure
you found Dak in the 4th round. You found Kirk Cousins in the 4th round.
Dak was better than a 4th round pick, and I would have preached that from the choir. I actually watched a ton of Dak Prescott in college, and coming out of college, I screamed at Dave. And Mike, shout out to Mike, but I used to tell him all the time, Dak was the franchise quarterback in Dallas. They were going to be happy with him. And, I don't know, I guess jury's still out if you're actually happy with him. But I think he's, the best quarterback probably to come out of that draft. I mean, who else was drafted that year?
Carson Wentz.
Oh yeah. Carson Wentz and not Bradford, Jared Goff. They went 1-2 in that draft, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Trubisky was in next year, I think, and he was from UNC. He wasn't anything great.
How'd that work out for him?
You're not wrong. Sam Howell at least played decent this year. He was the quarterback before Drake May.
But if Sam Howell could have stayed upright, they would have won a lot more games. I mean, the guy literally
didn't he lead
set
the
record
league?
most times back.
My bad, Dave. I'm jumping all over you.
Yeah, no, he didn't lead the league. He didn't just lead the league in getting sacked. He set the NFL record for getting sacked in a season.
Crazy, man.
Led the league for getting sacked. Wow. Anyway, so can we all successfully say, though, with the number 3 pick, whoever it is, they're taking Drake May?
Yes. Yes.
I'm dying on that hill. I don't know where you guys are at, but I think whoever's there, whether New England stays there, whether it's Minnesota that trades up, the Giants trade up. I've been hearing a lot of rumors about Minnesota trading up to get a quarterback. I get it. They lost Kirk Cousins. I get it right now. Who do they have in their locker room? I think Sam Darnold, right? Isn't it Sam Darnold? Isn't
Vikings?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're in desperate need of somebody.
I wouldn't say desperate. Why not? He just came from the Kyle Shanahan system. Maybe Kyle worked his mojo and kind of reset him. Never know, man.
No, sir.
Never know. Just saying.
Look, all I'll say about Sam Darnold is I'd be happy to have him be my backup quarterback. I would never want him to be my starting quarterback.
You're probably right about that, gentlemen. However, he's got a good arm. He's got Justin Jefferson. He's got Jordan Addison. Let's see what you can rock with, Sam.
I think they're going to be one of the teams that trades up and gets one of the quarterbacks.
Okay.
I think they could go up to get McCarthy or May. I think they want one of them. And I think that Minnesota is probably more likely than the Giants. I have a feeling they'll give up a little bit more capital to move up to get that guy. I think the Giants, as much as they're in play right now and talking like they're going to move up, I think in the end they would settle. If they were stuck on getting a quarterback this draft, I think they would settle on McCarthy if the price for trading up for May would be too high, and I think it will be. But I could see Minnesota paying up for that, and they're gonna need to, because Justin Jefferson, you talk about him being there, but it's gonna be one season, and he's gonna be disgruntled, and he's not gonna want to be there anymore.
He's gonna get paid.
Everybody gets paid nowadays. That's not paid. What he of course he is, but again, this is going to be like, every other, diva type situation though, and it just tends to be the word you use when you talk about wide receivers. But you're only going to put up with losing for so long, and anybody's going to pay you. Who wouldn't pay up for Justin Jefferson right now? So money's not going to be an issue, even if he goes to another team. I look at it as what's keeping him there. And if they don't go out and draft somebody, I sure as hell am not looking at that room like with Sam Darnold leading the squad and going, man, we really got a chance every week. And that's where I think the biggest problem is going to come in with Justin Jefferson is, and I think that's why they're going to have to trade up and they're going to have to get somebody, because to me, you have to keep certain people happy. He's not happy. And receivers are the first ones to make it known and start demanding trades. So, could I see a situation where they don't draft somebody and into training camp, he may get a little bit disgruntled and want to trade? I can see that. I can see that totally.
I got you.
Yeah, I mean, he's said all the right things so far, but Eric, I think you are spot on. Wide receivers are the first ones to let you know when they're not happy and to get their names in the newspapers. So, I really do think that, I don't know. Minnesota's not just letting him walk. So he can be pissed off all he wants, but Minnesota's not letting him walk. So if they don't sign him, they'll tag him or they'll do a sign and trade. But there's no way they're just letting him walk without getting something for him. But I do think Minnesota's got to do something. I don't know what quarterback in this draft is going to make him happy. I mean, I don't see it. I really don't. I mean, I like the LSU quarterback more than anybody. And with his fragile body, he takes one big hit, he's done.
Yeah.
So,
What do you mean fragile? He's over 200 pounds. He weighed in at 212.
I like
Yeah, it says 210
Yeah,
right
maybe-
there. CBS has him at 210.
maybe soaking wet.
Yeah, bro, he's 6'4".
They got Drake. They got
He's
Drake.
6'4", 210. What do you mean fragile? He's 6'4".
Well,
He's
for
6'4",
comparison, though,
30.
Drake May is 6'4" and 230.
But
Yeah,
still.
that's a healthy body right there. 6'4", 230.
Caleb Williams 6'1", 215.
Yeah, bro. Caleb Williams is more frail than Jaden Daniels.
Yeah,
I don't think really not high on Caleb Williams at all.
I think what could throw a monkey wrench in this whole draft is if Washington takes Drake May at 2. And then all of a sudden you have, well, now who wants to scramble up to try to get Daniels? And I think that's when you could see New England trade out of that pick. And that's when I could see Washington maybe Minnesota moving up or the Giants trying to move up. I could get behind that. I can see both of those teams maybe wanting to expend that capital to bring in Daniels, thinking that maybe he's the second guy, really, and maybe on some boards like Dave's talking about the first guy, and if you have a chance to get him and he drops down
Then
to be
he
the
drops.
third guy,
Yeah,
you
it
know,
could be chaos.
It could end up with being a big price being paid, and again,
Or maybe New England just takes him. Nobody knows. But you know who I want to see the Giants take?
rookie QB. Are you taking a rookie?
Yeah, to
Or
sit behind Brissett.
a rookie head coach. I mean, are you going to take a rookie QB?
CJ Stroud and D'Amico Ryans did last year.
That's true. It's true.
Unfortunately, the Jets did it with Robert Saleh and Zach Wilson, and it did not work out.
No. Wilson got shipped off, didn't he? He's in Denver now,
He's
right?
in Denver. Good for him, man. Good for him. Good luck, Zach.
Think he gets a fresh start? You think he gets a chance to start there? Or you think Denver could be another team that is...
They don't have the draft capital, so I don't see them. They might take a quarterback later. Or if, like, Penix is there, I could see that. Or Bo Nix, possibly. But they don't have the capital to move up, so no, I don't see that.
What do you think, Dave?
I mean, I don't know what Denver's trying to do in their quarterback room. I think they just think Sean Payton's the almighty savior. And some way, somehow, he's going to turn one of these schmoes in their quarterback room into a future Hall of Fame.
Because he coached a future Hall of Famer, Dave. That's why they think that.
Hey, what?
He coached a future Hall of Famer, so that's why they think that. They think he can, change the schmucks.
I mean, Drew Brees was a good quarterback before he got to Sean Payton.
Very true.
I mean, how many people were shocked that they moved on from Drew Brees? I mean, they ended up with Phillip Rivers, which I guess you could say worked out, but still.
They only
Actually,
had Phillip Rivers because of my boy Eli Manning.
By the way, your sister was in the chat, and that's who she wanted the Giants to take, Eli Manning. Yeah.
He's not.
I don't think that's an option.
Okay. So we all know that, but she just wanted
Arch
to
Manning
make you
is going to be
happy.
is going to be a possibility. I heard he was lighting it up in like their spring game. But Arch Manning is Texas. He'll be in the SEC. Is it next year? Yeah,
This coming year, I think.
No, it might be 2025 when they join. It's either 2024 or 2025, but I don't know why I'm thinking 2025.
You would know better.
I think next year is when the new playoffs start. So the new playoff rule, or so you're going to go from 4 teams to 12 teams, I think, next year.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Yeah.
Getting back to the draft real quick. I really want to see the New York Giants take a playmaker. I do. I want to see it. I know you're all about trading back, not trading up, or you want the lineman, but I want to see them take the playmaker. They lost Saquon. They really don't have another playmaker on the offense unless Jalen Hyatt steps up this year. Or you're
So
gonna
who
have,
are you taking then? You got to get
whatever receiver. I would take. Why not Neighbors or?
Well, you got to figure Harrison Jr.'s off the board.
Okay,
so he's off the board.
We'll say
because
he's off the board.
I don't think he falls to 6.
Okay. So then I would definitely go Neighbors, or if you like Roma Dunze more, you got to go one of those two, in my opinion. Not a Brock Bowers, even though it seems like Darren Waller's legs falling apart right in front of your eyes. But you need a playmaker.
But Brock Bowers is a playmaker. He's a guy you could put almost anywhere. He's a football player. He is a playmaker. He's a difference maker on a field. So when you talk about a playmaker, I wouldn't want to see the Giants reach for him. I wouldn't mind if they traded back and were able to get him somewhere around, 9, 10, 11. If Minnesota wanted to trade up to 6 to get McCarthy maybe or something, I'm all for that, trading back and, letting that pick come to me. I don't feel the need to reach for Bowers because I think a lot of people are going to think like you think that like, oh, well, Neighbors will probably go higher. Odunze,
Roma Dunze?
yeah, Roma Dunze. I can't pronounce that. I'm terrible.
Odunze.
Odunze. Playmakers, but I don't like, to be honest, Odunze. Who did he play against? There's Pac-12 competition. I didn't get to watch a lot of it, so I can't speak on it. They play a lot of late games, and unfortunately here on the East Coast, it's a little bit difficult to stay up and watch every single game. So I didn't see a ton of him, so I don't know what to expect, and I always don't love the unknown. I know he's got some, 6'3", 215. When you compare him to some of the other guys like Harrison Jr., 6'4", 205. And Malik Neighbors 6 foot 200. So he's got a little bit of size.
Well,
on
Neighbors is just the speed threat. That's what Neighbors is. He had the 4.3 40.
But the Giants drafted a speed threat last year in Hyatt that they still have.
So maybe they go. Maybe they like a Dunze.
So I don't like a Dunze, and that's where I would much rather a Brock Bowers than a Dunze. And if you're going to want a playmaker, that's who I think the playmaker is. Otherwise, defensively, I don't know who you would pick up playmaker wise. Maybe the kid Dallas Turner out of Alabama, probably the best edge rusher in the draft. Outside of that, I don't know what you're looking at. So that's where I want to kick it to you, and I want you, to let me know. Which playmaker is it going to be?
To me.
Yeah.
I thought you said to Dave.
No,
Real quick,
either one. I want to know who that playmaker is going to be.
Shout out to Fighting Irish 57 in the chat room.
Yeah, my buddy Tim.
What up, Tim? I'm saying they're going to take Malik Neighbors. That's who I'm going with. I'm dying on that hill.
What do you think, Dave? Where do the Giants end up here?
Honestly, if I had to say what's best for them, I think you take the offensive lineman, personally. That to me is the smartest move for them. But if you're looking for a big name, I think they're better off. Like Eric, I think you said the best scenario when it comes down to if you're trying to get a playmaker, it is you trade back and you let Bowers fall to you.
Mm-hmm.
There's no team in the league that would not want a guy like him on their team. It's that simple.
He blocks.
He
does everything.
That's what I mean. He's just one of those talents that every team in the NFL would be happy to have him on their team. So if you can trade back, build up your capital, get a guy like him, get an offensive lineman either later in the first or early in the second, then we're good. Like I said last week, this draft is filled with those hog mollies. This is a trench winning draft, and you got to get some guys for the trenches. You just have to. And if you don't, you're doing your team a disservice.
Yeah, Tim in the chat agrees with you. He'd like to see the Giants get the lineman out of Notre Dame or try and trade up and do something for Marvin Harrison Jr.
I would love to see it happen, but
that's the only guy they should be taking if they're trading up.
I'm in lockstep there, and I'll die on that hill. That's the only guy worth trading up for.
Well, I'm saying if they stay there, Malik Neighbors. But I agree. If you trade up, it's to get a playmaker. It's to get the playmaker, Marvin Harrison. Agreed.
If they stay there, I think Joe Alt's the pick. If they trade back, which I think is a real possibility. If I'm Minnesota, I'm hoping J.J. McCarthy falls to there. They trade up, get McCarthy. Giants trade back, and at 11 take Bowers. That'd be cool. That scenario.
That'd be cool. They could even take a lineman at 11 too.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I would hope that Bowers would still be there, and that would be my pick. If not, they stay at 6. I think Joel is the pick. So, yeah, I think that's where.
Yeah. All right, cool beans.
Yeah. So moving on. I guess that pick is in. So
well, there's no necessarily a pick. We kind of we're all over the place with it.
No, I mean
a lot of theories.
We've been going pretty good. We hit Chicago, Washington, New England. We kind of skipped over the Cardinals because we kind of expect them to pick Marvin Harrison Jr.
or trade out.
That would be where the chaos starts, is if them or New England start trading out, and then who's going to go where and what can fall, and that's when things get fun. God forbid somebody's stupid enough to let Marvin Harrison Jr. fall to 6.
So, they might be. We'll see.
But all of that, I think we've hit them all pretty much so far. Talked to Chargers, Giants. So let's keep it rolling here with a team that I look at. No more King Henry. Got a second-year guy you don't know what you're going to really get out of. Where do the Titans go with this pick? Because I think they're a team that maybe they want to put more playmakers around them. Maybe they try to go with the Neighbors. Maybe they try to go with an Adunzie. That's kind of where my mind's going, but I don't know what you guys think. They could go lineman. That could be where the guy from Penn State goes. They could be going a bunch of other places. So let me hear, Dave. What do you think? What do you think the Titans do?
Honestly, I think the odds have it that it's either going to be an offensive lineman or the other wide receiver. I just think you can't put a second-year quarterback out there and not have some guys for him to throw the balls. Or maybe they're the ones that take Bowers. Maybe they take the tight end and say, hey, like we just want a football player, and that's the route they go. It's hard to know because like with Vrabel as their head coach, I would have told you offensive lineman, and I would have stopped right there. Vrabel loved running the ball and stopping the run, and he would have taken one of the offensive linemen and said, I'll find a playmaker later in the draft. But I need a guy that's going to shove somebody and push people around and create holes for my running back. So without having any idea of what their new coaching staff wants to do, I'm going to take the safe bet and say they take one of the offensive linemen.
Yeah, because didn't they still have DeAndre Hopkins, right? And Traylon Burks. Didn't they just sign somebody? I think they have another veteran receiver. Or did they trade? Calvin Ridley. There it is. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate that.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, they actually have weapons for Levis. So, I mean, unless they really want to go crazy and take a receiver there, or maybe they take Bowers there at 7. That gives them another weapon right there, because who do they have at tight end? The guy with the name I cannot pronounce. Okonkwo or something like that. So that's another guy that they could take there at the 7th. So I could see either one. I could see them taking Bowers or a lineman as well.
All right. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Dave. I'm going to agree with the lineman. I think it's the safest bet. I think it's the thing that if you have a young quarterback, the thing you want to do is develop them, and the best way to do that is to keep them upright. And if you got a chance to get one of the top, 1, 2, 3 linemen in the draft, and you can improve your offense that way, especially because you lose that safety net of King Henry, but at the same time, they did sign Pollard, right? 2 years, 3 years for Pollard.
Yep.
So and Pollard did pretty well with Dallas. Now I know Dallas has been smart lately of getting out of the paying the running backs game and leaving that to other teams. So
I'm just looking real quick at last year's draft. I'm noticing Tennessee took an offensive lineman with their first round pick last year at 11.
why not do it again? That's how you build, isn't? Oh, now, Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that kind of how the Cowboys built before they got Zeke, before they got Dak? They really built the line, didn't they? They started with the line. Isn't that what you want to do?
Yeah, 3 out of 4 years, their first round pick was an offensive lineman. It was Tyron Smith, then Zach Martin, then a year off where I think they took Byron Jones, and then the following year they took Travis Frederick.
By the way, shout out to my buddy Vin, who chimes in that he wants to see the Giants take one of the wide receivers, playmaker.
Nice.
So shout out. But yeah, I agree with you, Dave. I think you're dead on this one.
Hey man, you got a good offensive lineman, you can have average quarterback play and still be a pretty competitive team.
Yeah. And speaking of average teams, though, the next team at 8 is one of those teams that to me has fallen in average, but could be on the upswing with the big signing of Kirk Cousins, because we all know that when you want to win Super Bowls, the guy you go out and sign is Kirk Cousins. Make sure you spend a solid penny on that guy for 4 years. What, 100 million guaranteed, 180 million total, something absolutely stupid. So yeah, Minnesota's got their guy, or not Minnesota. Atlanta's got their guy now, but with Pitts, with Drake London, with Bijan Robinson, where does Atlanta go? Because this is a team, I feel like, being that they've spent so much on weapons, they've gone out and spent on the quarterback, they almost have to invest now in the offensive line, don't they?
Yeah, I don't think they have a choice. You got to be able to protect.
Go ahead, Dave.
My bad, Joey.
You're good. You're good.
Got to be able to protect Cousins. Coming off that injury too, he's not going to be. Well, he never was mobile. You know what I mean? Like, he could get free and create space and some time, but he was never a guy where he feared his legs. He's a pocket passer through and through. So you got to get somebody to protect him. You got to get somebody to open up holes for Bijan. And I think offensive line is probably the smartest move, but they could go defense too. They might have enough faith in their offense and go defense. So, but if I'm them, I'm leaning more towards the offensive line and making sure our investment of Kirk Cousins gets us at least one freaking season.
All right. Is this true? The Bears are back at 9 again?
Yeah. Bears are at 9. That's their own pick.
Wow. So what do you think the Bears do? We know Caleb Williams is 1. Where do they go with 9? Because to me, they're a team that's got a lot of things that they need. Do they go defensive side of the ball here, knowing that they do have some receivers, they have some playmakers, so probably not going to go that route. Could go offensive line.
Well, they could go playmaker just for the simple fact that I think the Keenan Allen contract's only like a 1 or 2 year deal. I think that's it. So, and he's older anyway. He's like 33. So they could still go with the playmaker. I've also heard rumors that they're willing, if there's partners are willing to trade down, trade out of the pick. If they went pass rusher here to that defense, oh my goodness. That defense played so well the last half of the NFL season. They were probably one of the best defenses in the league. So adding another pass rusher to that, good luck. They might win the North with another pass rusher, to be honest with you. But we'll see. Probably better off with a lineman, protect Caleb Williams, but you can never have too many weapons.
I, again, though, just think that this is something where you got to keep your rookie quarterback upright. And I get that you might only have Keenan Allen for a year or two, but if you don't protect your quarterback and he can't get Allen the ball, then in 2 years from now, you're going to be looking for another quarterback in the draft again. Like, you're going to be looking at, I just...
No, you're not wrong. If you get the quarterback, might as well get your left tackle as well. Have them both play for 10 years with each other, 10, 15 years, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that would be the dream, right? Isn't that what every team kind of wants, like to have a scenario like that? So that would be good, but I could see them going, like you said, putting another, like, whether it be corner or edge rusher, somebody in the draft on that defensive side of the ball where they were already strong last year to make them even stronger. Because, listen, to go up against an offense like Detroit, you're going to have a solid defense. Mm-hmm. And even against Jordan Love and the Packers showed they could put up some points and score too. So having a solid defense is probably going to be the only key to the Bears season, in my opinion, starting with this rookie quarterback. I'm kind of writing the Vikings off this year. I don't think, even with... It's just too much.
I think it's a reset for them.
So I really think that this division is still Green Bay's and Detroit's right now. With the Bears, if they make some smart decisions in this draft, could start moving up the ladder. But it's all in the decisions they make. So I think one of those decisions, though, would be bolster an already good defense, make it even better. Like you said, if they played like they were a top 5 defense in the league the last half of the year. Let's play all of next year like we're a top 5 defense and see where we can end up. So I think that you're right on. It's got to be one of those things. Though. It's got to be an edge rusher, or you got to go out and get your tackle. But that's that. It's the next pick in the draft, though. To me, is one that, Joey, I'm dying to get your opinion on because they're your team, and I want to know. Is the pick in? Do you know who you want? Who is going to come in and help Aaron Rodgers for this 1, maybe 2 years that he's going to be here for you? Coming off this injury, who is your guy? What are the Jets doing at 10?
Just like you, I want to trade back. They only have 5 picks in this draft. I want them to accumulate more, at least get a second-round pick this year, so they can get some more talent to go along with Garrett Wilson and Conklin and who's the other number 2 they just got? Why am I forgetting his name? Anyway, stoner moment. Sorry,
yeah, no, I don't know who you're talking about.
I always have one of these. But anyway, Mike Williams. They got Mike Williams.
Okay.
That's who they got. A lot of people have Brock Bowers right here to say that have another weapon for Aaron Rodgers. I personally think it takes a little time for tight ends to adjust, even though last year you saw a whole bunch of rookie tight ends bust out. However, I'm not a fan of that. If you're going to do it, like you said, trade back. And if he falls to you, I'm cool with taking Bowers. I'd rather them take an old lineman to try and keep him up. By him, meaning Aaron Rodgers. And Tyron Smith is known as a veteran who gets hurt all the time. He hasn't played a full season in, I think, like almost 10 years. So, yeah, I'm all for a lineman, honestly. And then in later rounds, I'll take, try and find a receiver. This quote-unquote draft is so deep at receiver. Well, then I'll take one in the second round. I'll take a flyer on somebody. I'll figure that out. And then I also really want them in some point at this draft. I want them to draft a quarterback from Florida State, the guy who broke his leg last year.
Okay, he came out.
He's in the draft. So I think he's probably a better quarterback than everybody else that they're naming, except for maybe like Daniels or Williams. But I think he's going to be better than McCarthy. I think he's going to be better than Drake May. And I hope in like the 4th round or something they could take him if he's there.
All right. I mean, I think that's an interesting strategy and one that makes sense. I mean, if you can get a quarterback in a later round that you could try to develop underneath Rodgers for a couple years, then maybe it makes sense. But I'm with you. I think either if they stay there, lineman, something like that, or trade back and, again, go for linemen, go for other positions later in the draft. Because, again, if it's so deep at receiver, then, again, I could trade back and get another.
Trade back. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Dave, you got any thoughts on the Jets draft here? What they should do? What is Aaron Rodgers? Who is Aaron Rodgers going to announce at the podium tomorrow?
So, what I find interesting is that the Jets are in a great position to be able to take one of the top wide receivers, but they probably won't. And Aaron Rodgers' career will continue where he will have never played with a wide receiver drafted in the 1st round.
Garrett Wilson.
He never threw Garrett Wilson a pass.
That's right, because he only played 4 plays last year. That's right.
So, all right, maybe the right way to say this: he's never completed the 1st round draft again.
Oh, that's terrible.
But honestly, the biggest issue that the Jets have had for the last 2 years is their offensive line. So take a freaking offensive lineman. Honestly, I'd use every pick on offensive linemen. The team will go as far as Aaron Rodgers takes them, and he can't take anywhere if he's getting beat up every game.
So what, you figure if you draft one in each round, you get 7 of them, you figure you got to at least hit on 1 or 2, right? You got to figure you got at least 1 or 2 starters if you draft 7 of them.
Gotta.
Did we lose them?
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I'm trying to multitask here. I'm having plumbing issues in the house. We're running.
Oh, that's always fun.
But you have to keep Rodgers upright. This team has a good enough defense and enough decent talent that Rodgers can make look better than they are. But he can't do it if he's not protected, and he's basically 40 years old now, which means he really is not the athletic guy he once was, and they need to be able to keep him upright. They have to. If he's upright for all 17 games, this team can win 10 to 12 games. Like, you got to keep him protected, and to me, he is the only chance you have to contend for a Super Bowl. So protect him and draft offensive linemen after offensive linemen after offensive linemen, and then fill the rest of your roster spots with undrafted free agents. Just get as many offensive linemen as you can, because you got to be able to find a good one if you draft enough of them.
Not wrong, Dave.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton, to steal a line from Joey earlier. But yeah, and speaking of bold strategies, I mean, we've been going forever now. We don't need to hit every team, I guess. Kind of already went through Minnesota. The Broncos, they just have so many holes. Who knows what they're going to do? But Dave, I want to give you a chance here because we haven't hit on your team, America's team, the Cowboys. And I want to know, I know they're coming up later in the draft. And even though we've been going kind of in order here, I'm going to jump out of order. And I want to know, the 24th pick in this year's NFL draft, who are your Dallas Cowboys going to take?
Well, I'm glad you're jumping ahead, because if you were going to ask me to mock draft all 32 picks with you, I was just going to tell you, I'll write them down and send them to you.
No. The top 10 was the most important, in my opinion. Top 10, and then we hit where we hit after that. But, top 10, and then, again, your Cowboys tended not to be in the top 10, unlike the Giants and the Jets here for Joey and I. Thanks for rubbing it in. So I had to at least get us there.
Hey, you still had palm trees in your life. I haven't since October. So I don't feel that at all.
I suggest it. It's nice.
I'm sure it freaking is. Anyway, no, in all seriousness, I think Dallas has a lot of holes they need to fill. And the problem is that they don't have enough draft picks to do it. And for some reason, they won't extend Dak, Amari Cooper, is that Dak, Lamb,
Prescott.
and Parsons. Thank you. They won't extend any of the three of them, so they're not opening up any salary cap space for themselves to sign free agents. They don't even have enough salary cap to sign the draft picks that they have. So I don't know what the hell they're actually doing. But Jerry says he wants to wait and let some more leaves fall before they do what they got to do. So, God, Jerry, I think he's senile, insane, and I'm pretty sure he wants them to suck this year so he can blow the whole thing up. But that's me being the pessimistic Cowboys fan, and hopefully I'm wrong.
They're still the second best team in the division.
I still think they're just as. I think Dak is a lot better of a quarterback than Jalen Hurts, so I think Dallas is just as good as him.
Agreed.
I don't think Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts is a running back that plays quarterback. But he'll have to prove me wrong. He's had one really good season, and other than that, he's been nothing but average. But I think Dallas is going to go after offensive line. They lost their starting left tackle. They lost their starting center. They lost their starting running back. They let go of their number 3 wide receiver. They lost one of their starting defensive ends, one of their starting defensive tackles. They lost a linebacker to retirement. They have holes everywhere. So preferably, I'd like them to trade back early first-round picks. So you talk about like Giants trading back into the first, take maybe J.J. McCarthy if he falls. All right, cool. Swap with the Giants, take an early second-round pick, get a couple of offensive linemen, get your running back. I think no matter what, the first pick that they make is an offensive lineman unless one of the big-name wide receivers or one of the big-name edge rushers, unless one of them drops, surprisingly, and Dallas wants to go with best player on the board instead of, just need, then I think if that's the case, unless that's the case, Dallas's first pick in the draft, whether it be at 24 or later, is going to be an offensive lineman. I think their first 2 picks will probably be offensive linemen.
Right now, it looks like, according to ESPN's best available, their 24th best available is an offensive lineman, J.C. Latham out of Alabama. So, I mean, listen, you know me, Roll Tide, so I'm not going to talk you out of that one.
6'6", 360. He's a big dude.
Yeah, he is a big dude. 6'6", 360. We're just looking up his stats right now. Ranked number 19 on CBS's board. So, it looks like somebody that could be a target for them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What do you think about that?
I mean, I'm more than okay with that. What amazes me is that he's 6'6", 340 pounds, and he still probably ran a sub 5-second 40-yard dash.
You're probably right. That's amazing.
Like, it is mind-blowing how athletic these guys are, and yeah, they got to. It's not fancy or flashy or any of that shit, but I think it's the right pick and the smart pick, and I think that's the move that they're going to make.
All right. Well, that being said, I wanted to ask one more question here, draft-wise, to you guys. And that's, if one team is going to make a trade in the first round, which team is that? And I want to throw it to Dave first. Why not? Who do you think is most likely to make a trade in this first round, and do you think that trade is up or down?
I think the most likely team to make a trade is Minnesota, and it's up.
For a QB, right?
Yeah.
100%. I agree with Dave. They have the 2 first-round picks. I think they are poised definitely to make a trade into the top 10 to take a quarterback.
Any chance McCarthy falls beyond 10, beyond Minnesota? Any chance the Steelers would want to move up?
No. Why would they do that?
No.
Because they got, what, 1 year of Russell Wilson or 2 years of Russell Wilson?
No.
No? All right. I'm just thinking that's the only other team I can think of on the board that would maybe make a play for one of those QBs that's not Minnesota.
I feel like the Steelers would take a receiver, like a Brian Thomas or something at 20 because they just traded Deontay Johnson. Oh, but they have a tendency to not take
skill position.
Skill position, that's the words I'm looking for in the first round. They tend to do that in the middle rounds.
So whatever
like
Mike Tomlin does in Tomlin, I trust because that man has yet to have, what, a losing season? Mm-hmm. In, what, 15, 16 years now? He knows how to win. He keeps finding winners, whether he has Roethlisberger, doesn't have Roethlisberger, whatever it is.
Mason Rudolph he won with last year.
He's finding ways to win games. And so that's, to me, like one of those teams where it's like not where they draft, but who they draft that I'm more interested in because they tend to draft pretty well.
As crazy as this might seem, a wild card, I'll say Seattle trades up for a quarterback.
From 16.
They got
Gino. That's not a bad.
It's not bad at all.
A left field. Sorry.
They got Gino and what? Sam Howell? I could totally see them trading up for a quarterback. Or maybe they go after Penix. Maybe Penix falls to 16 or they go...
Well, I think Penix falls further than that. I wonder if they're a team that could trade back into the first round late to grab a guy like Penix.
Okay, possibly.
Or grab a guy like Bo Nix. Both who have played out west. Well, Penix, Washington. Bo Nix played his last year or two out in Oregon.
Yep.
Before that, he was with Auburn. So again, he has a lot of big game experience as well. Getting back into the late first round, maybe trading with a team like your Cowboys, Dave, to get back in and steal somebody late in the round. Or I'm trying to think who else might be willing to.
Could Buffalo trade up for a top receiver? Nah, coming from 28 is tough.
And again, from what they say, this is supposed to be a stacked wide receiver class.
So maybe just wait.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see which one of them falls to me then. Because I'm sure if that's what the position you're looking for, you probably got 5 or 6 guys on that list that you're like, okay, if it's not this guy, it's going to be this guy. If not, one of those guys will probably fall down.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I look at it and I say maybe the Ravens. Like, could they trade? Could Seattle trade back into the first round with the Ravens to, make a move like that? I could, because the Ravens don't necessarily need. I mean, they're another team that could be going wide receiver, but if it's such a stacked class, they're like, you know what? I'm good for a couple more picks. You trade back in, get your quarterback. I'll trade back, get 2 more picks, and go.
I could see them going like linebacker,
there.
just because they lost Patrick Queen. We'll see. We'll see though. But you're not wrong about one of these teams. I could see Kansas City doing something like that too, trading back, getting more seconds since they paid money.
I think Kansas City's going to be one that takes your receiver.
I do too.
And we all know.
Go ahead, Dave.
I think what you're going to see is quarterback needy teams or teams that think they're one piece away, like the Bills, are going to be the teams that try to trade up. And the teams that know they need several pieces, like the Jets, the Giants, the Cowboys, those are going to be teams that you're seeing trade back and try. Because again, like this draft is supposed to be loaded with offensive linemen and wide receivers. So if those are the 2 areas that you need, you're trading backwards. You need something else, you're trading up. Like I read a report, like I mentioned, Dallas needs a linebacker, and I read a report that this is like one of the worst drafts if you need an off the ball linebacker. There's like a handful of them, and that's it. So like if you need a linebacker, it's not going to be day 1, but maybe day 2 or day 3, you might be trading up and taking a guy that when you compare it to where he ranks amongst the rest of the players in the draft, it's too high. But if you know you need one, like you're gonna trade up and make that move so that you can get the guy. I think this is going to be like, I will not watch probably more than 5 minutes of the draft. I don't need to listen to Mel Kiper talk about what a team needs, or talk about a guy that just got drafted for 20 minutes, when I can just flip on Twitter and find out every draft pick 5 minutes before it's even aired on television. I'll put it on while Dallas is up. Maybe if I'm bored sitting around the house on Saturday or Sunday, I'll throw it on for a few. But it's just the draft just, like Eric, you pointed out last week, they just made it too long. It shouldn't be a 4-day event. Even if you just stuck with Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'd be more interested in the draft than I am now with them having 4 full days. It's too much.
Oh, it totally is too much. I mean, it's too much for anybody. It's almost like you have to have no life other than NFL football to watch the draft. Like, who's giving up pretty much 4 nights, 4 days? Because most people are working Thursday and then, got the draft, and then they're going to maybe watch it on Thursday to watch the first round. Then you got to try and draw those people back in. Then you got to catch them all weekend long. Who's going to schedule their entire life around watching the rounds 5, 6, and 7 on Sunday? Nobody gives a damn.
You say that, but they pull numbers for the draft,
because
or else they wouldn't do it.
Yeah, but everybody just throws it on because there's nothing else on a Saturday afternoon.
You can't say that.
You
because
throw it on. It's background noise while you're vacuuming and cleaning your house. That's what it is.
It's playoff time. There's plenty of stuff to watch, plenty of stuff to put on.
Well, that's where I think it's gonna get interesting, especially in the New York area now, because you have
the Knicks and Rangers are kicking butt.
And this is a great segue out of the draft and into some playoff talk, because it's
playoff time here in New York.
Playoff time, baby. And that's where I don't know if they're going to draw the same New York numbers they would. And, I find that interesting. So, Dave, I'm going to throw it to you. What ranks higher this weekend, the Knicks Rangers games or the draft rounds 4, 5, 6, and 7?
I mean, it's not the Knicks Rangers games. Then I would say golf, baseball, and then the draft.
Oh,
yeah, I even threw baseball in there.
Oh, nice, Dave. Nice. The Knicks are playing at 7:30 on the draft night on Thursday.
Yeah. Well, I think the draft is going to win. That's going to beat out the Knicks and the Knicks Sixers number. I even though it's 2 major markets, and I know people are going to be flipping back and forth. I do know that
you got the Islanders too on Thursday, so they're going to miss some. They're going to miss some eyes on it.
It's not. I'll put it this way: it's not going to be the highest rated draft we've ever seen. I'll bet, but at the same time, I do think it will. I go with Dave there. I don't think golf beats it out, but I do think that the draft, even in the New York market here, will be the highest rated of the bunch. And that's saying something, but again, I'm going to be a guy who watches more of the playoff stuff myself. And that to me is, it's exciting now. It's exciting around New York right now. And Dave, I know you're a Bulls fan. I know you got your own struggles going on right now with basketball, but I know you are a basketball guy. So hit me with it, man. You've been watching this Knick team, and what do you think about them? Because I got to be honest, they are a team of try-hards, man. And I love that. And I love that that's what Thibodeau gets out of these guys. They play defense. They play hard. They do what they're supposed to do. Not everybody loves to play for Tibbs. I think he was voted as like the coach they'd least likely want to play for. But at the same time, those are guys Tibbs wouldn't want on his team anyway. So they play with grit. They play with heart. They play with determination. You saw that last night, especially in the final 30 seconds. That was wild. Go back and listen to like Mike Green's call of it. It was fun and it was exciting, and to see Melo and Sprewell and Starks and all those old Knicks jumping up and down and cheering and getting into it too. It's a cool atmosphere, and it's fun to see the Garden relevant again, because I just feel like sports are better. And again, I know this is probably a bias, but sports are just better when the New York teams are involved. They're just when the Garden's hopping, it's just a more exciting atmosphere in sports in general. And we haven't had an atmosphere like this in the last 30 years. We talked about it kind of like the reminiscent of the OJ case. 30 years later, OJ no longer here, but we may get the Knicks and Rangers back to the promised land. You never know. And the way this Knicks team is playing right now, oh man, they're exciting to watch. And that win last night in Game 2, exciting. I know Joel Embiid came out and said that he's so guaranteeing they win, but I don't see it happening. And this Knicks team to me just seems a bit special right now. And you don't always see this with certain teams. I feel like this years ago, like they remind me of like the Detroit Pistons from a bunch of years back. Remember when they had like Rip Hamilton and Chauncey Billups and Ben Wallace and Rasheed Wallace and that reminds me of like that kind of like group of where they're not all the greatest. We don't have a top 2 or 3 player in the league, but when they play together, they play as a team, and we're able to take down superstars such as Shaq and Kobe. You know what I mean? And take down some of the game's greatest by playing that great team basketball. And I feel like that's what I'm seeing here with the Knicks. Dave, tell me, what are you seeing, man?
All right, really quick. Did you actually honestly say that did you say and you honestly believe that the draft coverage on Saturday and Sunday will draw better ratings than playoff basketball and playoff hockey?
I think that and we're talking only New York market here. I'm not talking nationwide, because nationwide we know that the draft is going to win out. New York market share wise, I do think that you're going to have more TVs tuned into the draft. And I say that only because the NFL just dominates everything. Nothing stops it. More because nothing stops the Shield is the only reason I'm thinking that, Dave.
See, and I think the only day that they'll dominate is on Thursday. I think that would be the only day where they win the rating. Now, for against basketball, hockey's a little different. I mean, hockey's ratings are up this playoffs than what it's been in previous years.
We're getting more exposure on ESPN and everything now too, so it's good to see. 2-2 Rangers Capitals, by the way.
Oh, I got the game on right now. But back to your Knicks. A, tryhards, couldn't say it better. B, love Tom Thibodeau as a head coach. This is exactly what he gets out of his players, and you're finally getting to actually reap the benefits of it because the Knicks put a good roster together. 3, I love your comparison to the Detroit Pistons of the early 2000s. The only difference was that none of those Detroit Pistons teams ever had a guy finish in the top 5 in MVP voting, and Jalen Brunson is going to finish in the top 5 of MVP
Deservedly,
voting.
too.
He definitely does.
Oh, completely agree. But nobody on that Pistons team finished in the top 5 of MVP voting.
That's crazy.
Either way, this Knicks team is special. This Knicks team plays to the last second, and you saw that last night. That ending, I was on my couch, and it took everything I had not to scream, and I literally don't like the Knicks, and I hate all Philly sports teams. So the only reason I'm rooting for the Knicks is that my hatred for the Philly sports team is greater than my hatred for the Knicks. I also always growing up, got to watch the Knicks lose. I only had to watch the Knicks beat Chicago once, and Jordan just retired, so they were bound to have one. I mean, good for them. But overall, their heart, their grit. I love the Villanova boys, DiVincenzo, and what these guys are doing. Just they are playing. That last night's game especially reminded me a lot of the 90s basketball we grew up with, right? It wasn't 120 to 119, right? It was a close game. Neither team broke 100 points. It was a fought-out, gritty game. The refs let them play. I do think the Knicks got away with a little bit more than they probably should have on the play on the turnover that led to the DiVincenzo 3 to take the lead. But overall, the Knicks deserve to win that game. They played their heart out all the way to the end. They executed better. They played a better team basketball game. The Philly literally they got out of their 98 points or 97 points they scored, 69 of them, I believe, or 68 of them were scored by Maxey or Embiid. And then the other 13 guys combined for 32 points. That's embarrassing. It's a team game. I don't care if you have a superstar, all-star, Hall of Fame, future caliber player on your team. It's still a team game. You need other guys to step up. And nobody on Philly stepped up for him. And that's the outcome you get. I mean, the fact that it came down to what it came down to shows that Philly is a tough team. I still think the series goes 6-7 games, but I don't think Philly has a chance. Philly's chance to win this series was last night, and they blew it. Because if you stole one of the first two games in New York to head back to Philly in a 1-1 series, you steal home court advantage and you swing all the momentum in your favor. Instead, the Knicks are... I heard somebody say it perfectly. There were a lot of Timberlands stomping around New York last night. And that was a great way to say it, because it's just, they're playing with confidence and attitude. They believe in their coach. They believe in each other. And that's a dangerous, dangerous combination when it comes down to anybody in the Eastern Conference. It's just dangerous, and nobody's going to want to play this team. And even if somebody eliminates them before the NBA Finals, it's going to take 6 or 7 games to do it. Nobody's sweeping this team.
And also, it's pretty incredible that they're up 2-0, and Brunson's played like crap for 2 straight games. They've stepped up the Knicks. Josh Hart had 19 points in the first half last night, hitting threes all over the place like he's Steph Curry. This team plays with such heart, and Hartenstein brings that out as well as Josh Hart. And like you said, Dave, these Villanova boys, they play basketball the right way, and you got to thank Jay Wright for that. Thank you for coaching these guys the right way, because look what it translates to. These guys don't give up. They scored 8 points in the last 27 seconds to win the game. Like, I thought the game was over.
Last time I saw that, it was happening to the Knicks. And wasn't it Reggie Miller? Like 8 points in 9 seconds?
Something like that.
Yeah, I think it was something. And we were devastated. Yeah, I remember that game as a kid in the 90s.
But this was awesome. This was such a fun game last night. Maxey, with the seconds left going up, I think they either tie it or take the lead, and Hartenstein getting a finger on it to redirect it or to block it. Oh, man, and DiVincenzo with a clutch 3. Dude, this team is definitely special. Dave is 100% right on that. I think you even said the word special too, right? So you guys are definitely right. They have a cohesiveness about them, their energy. Yeah, man, I'm really all for it, and I really hope they continue to dominate. I say Knicks in 5, and we'll call it a gentleman's sweep, baby. Let's go.
I have a hard time disagreeing with anything you just said there, and also with the prediction, because I do think, with as hard as Philly plays and Embiid and those guys, I think they could get one. I think they can steal one and get it at home. But I think the Knicks can come back 3-1 and close it out at the Garden. I think that would be a great way to end this first series and get ready to probably play
Milwaukee, probably.
It's looking like that, right? So,
well, Milwaukee's up 1-0, and their game 2's tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
So but no Giannis, and I mean they just Damian Lillard scored over 30.
Yeah, what do you have, 35 in the first half?
Actually, surprisingly enough, it wasn't. He scored 30-something points in the first half and did not score again the rest of the game. He did not have a single point.
Did not realize that.
So they played an all-around really good team game, and more importantly, they played good defense, and Lillard helped them build a big enough lead in the first half that it was just too much for Indiana to come back on. But, yeah, no, this Knicks team, to me, from what I've watched so far, Knicks, Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals makes a lot of freaking sense.
You know what else is good, Dave? You know what else would be good? Another Ranger victory. Well, not really. They're up 3-2. 3-2.
And it was a sick goal. It was nuts. He squeezed it between the upright or the cross. He squeezed it between the crossbar and the goal shoulder, like just squeezed it in. Dirty, but yeah, I don't know, man. The Knicks to me are the scariest team when it comes down to toughness and grit, and that's really what gets you through the playoffs. So interesting to see what happens with Milwaukee, because Indiana's a much better team than what showed up in Game 1 against Milwaukee. Boston should be fine, taking care of business on their end.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then I mean, even when you look out west, the Lakers were up 12 in Game 1, blew that lead and lost. They were up 20 in Game 2, blew that lead and lost. The Lakers are not going anywhere. They're going to be done with Denver. Will be done with them after 5 games.
Sweep.
So you don't agree with the king? You don't agree with the king? Officiating's been terrible, and it's all their fault?
I've never seen an officiating crew blow a 20-point lead. I've seen them blow a call or two, but I've never seen them blow a 20-point lead.
Are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure they did.
I don't know how you see that one, my friend.
It's LeBron James. He's the king.
He's the bitch.
And last I checked, the refs aren't the ones that bricked a 3-pointer with under 20 seconds left that would have gave the Lakers a 3-point lead.
Stop it. Get some help.
Yeah, why is he taking that anyway?
That's what I say to LeBron.
He's not a great 3-point shooter. I don't know why he's taking that. I get it. You're one.
Drop the damn ball.
Yeah, I agreed, Dave. Agreed.
To be honest, that's what Brunson last night was having an issue shooting, started driving to the hoop. Mm-hmm. And that's when things turned around for him. And next thing you know, the Knicks were catching fire and, it was off to the races. It could be, I'm with you guys. I don't think that was the correct shot choice. You had a lot of different things you could have done there, and you picked the worst option.
I mean, there's nobody in the league that can stop LeBron James going to the rim at full speed.
Nope.
And the most critical point of the entire game, he decided, you know what, I'm just going to spot up and shoot the three. I get it. He was wide open. It wasn't a forced shot. Like, I understand that.
This is what he needed to say, Dave. This is what he needed to say.
No, I thought it generally sucked. I didn't think it was a specific suck. I thought it was like an all-encompassing type of suck. So, we're going to try and rectify that. But for right now, I'm going to be pretty pissed about it.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what LeBron should have come out and said.
I won't argue with you there, man. But no, him and Anthony Davis want to blame the refs. That's on them. But the refs didn't cost you a 20-point lead. The refs didn't make you brick a 3-pointer that would have gave your team the lead with
and LeBron's
20 seconds
for a
left.
reason.
And the refs aren't the ones that let Jamal Murray beat him on a buzzer-beating step back jumper.
Love it, Dave.
Own it.
Own it. Well, speaking of owning it, I want the Rangers to own the cup. They haven't owned it since '94.
Been 30 years. Wow.
30 years. Up 3-2 on Washington. Dave, have you been watching any Ranger hockey? I know you're watching some right now. Did you watch the other night? I know the Devils are your team. Are you more on board with the Rangers or the Islanders here?
I'd like to see the Rangers, win a series or two, but I don't want to see them win a Stanley Cup. Same with the Knicks. I don't want to see them win a NBA Finals, but I'm cool with them winning a series or two. And the good thing is, look, if either one of them or both of them win it, I'm not losing any sleep over it, and a lot of people I care about will be very happy. So, I will, be happy for them because I care about them. But Joey's a Devils fan.
He's rooting
And
for
I
the
don't
Rangers here with me, though, right now.
I'm only rooting for the Rangers
Well,
because I said they'd go further than the Knicks. That's really it.
Hey, I'll take it. That means you're hoping they both go far, so I'll take it.
But yeah, no, I think I mean the NHL playoffs have been great so far. I mean, I didn't get to watch game one for the Rangers. I was out of the house all day. But watching them play right now, I mean, I've had the game on since the puck dropped because I put on the Minnesota Phoenix basketball game, and with 3 minutes left, Minnesota had 12 points scored, and Phoenix had 12 points scored, and Minnesota had 18. So I looked at Amanda. I'm like, honestly, in all my years, with the amount of talent these two teams have, this is the ugliest first quarter of basketball I've ever seen. But like the NHL playoffs have been great. I mean, it was Sunday. You had Montreal. It was like a 7-5 game that was just back and forth. Watching the Maple Leafs win their first playoff game in like 5 years. No, the NHL playoffs have been fun. I've been trying to watch that. Shout out to HBO Max. The ability to stream games on HBO Max has made my life a lot easier. So, been enjoying what I could. They got NHL
Not only that,
games,
House of the
NBA.
Dragon comes back soon, so you'll have that on HBO Max too.
June 16th, baby.
And not only that, but I believe you probably have Dune Part 2 coming there soon, as well as
Roma Dunze coming? What?
And Dunze, and then I think the MMA fight everybody wants to see, Godzilla and Kong. I think you get that eventually coming up on HBO Max. So you get some things coming up on HBO Max.
Yeah. So, but no, I'm all about this time of year, especially outside of the disappointing showing Chicago had in the play-in game last week. That was a little rough to watch on Friday night. That was just ugly. But it's been good, man. I'm excited to see where the playoffs take us. But I do think both the Rangers and Knicks are going to definitely at least find themselves playing in round 2 of their respective playoffs.
From your lips to God's ears, buddy. I hope so. So, I mean, again, Rangers still up 3-2, going to be coming towards the end of the second. Wishing them nothing but the best. And like I said, who knows? Maybe it turns out like a 94. And if we could get at least, listen, if I got a championship out of at least one of the two teams, I am ecstatic. I'm a happy camper. Because to be honest, I'm hitting kind of a drought here. I mean, thinking of the last time a New York team has won a championship.
That was the Giants.
It was 2011, right?
Yep.
Or 2012, whatever.
2011.
2011 season, 2012, whatever it is. But yes, you're talking 12 years since we've had any kind of championship whatsoever, whether that be in any of the major sports. So
we're due, baby. We're due. Let's get some.
Let's get 2. Let's go for 2. Get 2.
I don't know about 2.
No.
Maybe come October we can get 1.
Well, listen, I'm going to start round by round and just be happy.
There you go.
So
That's all it needs, baby.
that being said, I can't wait. Can't wait. I'm going to go catch the third period of this Ranger game now. Knicks are on tomorrow. Draft on tomorrow.
No.
Thursday.
Thursday.
Oh, I'm off a day. I'm off a day.
Today's Tuesday, not Wednesday.
Why?
Yeah.
Why Tuesday? No, I get
We
it.
all wish it was.
Yeah, my days are all messed up.
If it was
really
Wednesday,
thought
I
it
would
was
not
Wednesday.
be here.
I thought it was Wednesday. I don't know why. I had it as Wednesday in my head. I'm just too excited, I guess. It's just too much going on, and I'm just too excited. But either way, I couldn't be happier to do this with you fellas. And
Get that music playing.
listen, I hope that, Joey, your Jets do right by you. I'm hoping the Cowboys do right by Dave. And I'm hoping the Giants do right by us Giants fans. And,
4-2 Rangers.
4-2, baby. Woo!
And this this goal was like, if you're a coach, it's like the dream of teamwork and moving the puck. This was gorgeous. I literally muted myself so I could get Amanda's attention and tell her to look up from her phone to watch it.
No, listen, it is exciting right now. It's playoffs. Playoff hockey is some of the most exciting thing in all of sports. Yeah, in any of the playoffs.
Yep.
To me, I love baseball and I love the Yankees, but hockey playoffs, I could still watch the hockey playoffs even if the Rangers were to get eliminated. I could still watch that. I
can't watch baseball once the Yankees are out of it.
Once the Yankees are out. And I love the Yankees. If you ask me what team over any is my favorite, I would say the Yankees. So the Yankees and I work my way down the list. But I can't watch it.
Yeah.
Playoff baseball to me, once the Yankees are out, I'm out. I'm on to football and I'm done with baseball. And playoff hockey though, it just grabs you. And I hope it grabs more people. I love that even a couple of Devils fans that are out here are still enjoying some Ranger hockey, and that makes my heart happy. Even though I know it probably doesn't make yours. But that being said, Joey, we do it every week, and I'm going to keep doing it anyway. Where can the kids find you?
They can find me on Die on This Hill.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Find them right here at Die on This Hill on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple, on all your favorite podcasting apps of choice. Closing in on over 600 listeners
all right.
total to the podcast.
Thank you to all the listeners.
Thank you to everybody out there, however you're listening, whether it be YouTube, whether it be Apple, whether it be Spotify or any other app of choice. Couldn't be happier to do it with you. Dave, tell the kids, where can they find you? I think they can find you at a few more places.
Yeah, I mean, obviously at Die on This Hill, on Apple and Spotify and YouTube and other places. But you can also find me at David Hastings free on Twitter. And yeah.
Awesome. Well, till next week, and until we get the results of this draft, don't be afraid to have an opinion. Don't be afraid to share it with us. And don't be afraid to die on this hill.